Smiling through the cold, but normally Samara and her colleagues at this school for pupils with special needs would be inside. They want a pay rise that meets the rising cost of living and keeps people in the profession.
I've had to make huge sacrifices. I've actually worked 2 jobs for 5 years now to be able to literally keep a roof over my head and to be able to put fuel in my car so that I can actually get to work. Even friends of mine who have been teachers for 2-3 years have decided that it's just not for them because they genuinely cannot bear the stress and the overload and the workload that they are expected to do.
Thousands of teachers and their families marched in London on Wednesday. Many stressed pay rises should be far higher than the 5% offered for last year and be paid for by the government, not come from already stretched school budgets.
That 5% pay came out of school budgets. So what you're doing is you're taking away glue sticks in order to pay your teachers, and that's not good enough.
My mum's a teacher, and we come home and it's just she works so much longer than she should have to, and they're being paid they're doing so much more than they're required to.
Well, these teachers are making sure their demands are heard on what is clearly a sizable demonstration here in London. But they're also part of a wave of industrial action taking in various parts of the economy, all calling on the government for pay rises that meet inflation.
The government insists it's bound by the recommendations of the pay review body, even though it's constrained by the financial remit ministers gave it.
The independent pay review body recommended 5% for experienced teachers and 8.9% for new teachers. There's also progression pay within those salary bands as well. So 40% of classroom teachers will actually be getting pay rises up to 15.9% this year.
For the National Education Union, that's far from good enough. They accuse ministers of refusing meaningful talks.
They've got to dial down the rhetoric, dial down the anti-union, anti-teacher tone. They've got to stop doing political stunts. They've got to get into a room and they've got to devote the time and the resources to negotiating a settlement.
So at the moment there is not an offer on the table that you can put to the members?
No, there's no extra money for this year, and indeed they delayed. They should have published their evidence to the pay review body on Friday and haven't published it.
The next education strike is due at the end of the month. If there's no movement on pay, we're likely to be seeing more protests. Not just from people like Samara, but workers in other key professions who, at least for now, enjoy broad support from the public. Nadim, Al Jazeera, London.